4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of Married into Crazy. I'm Snooks. Lovey's not with me. He is, this is, I should say, the Queen's Corner. Last podcast that was done, Lovey did the King's Corner, and so now I'm going to do the Queen's Corner. But before I do that, because I always forget, make sure that you go and like and subscribe to our podcast. You can go to marriedintocrazy.com. Married into Crazy is a marriage podcast, and if y'all been listening, y'all know that. It's in the title, Married into Crazy, right? Anyway, it's a relationship podcast, and really tells a story about myself and Lovey, how we met. We're going on 30 years next year, that we've been married, and we've been through some things, like he likes to say. So we met. It wasn't a blind date. It was like a blind setup. I'll say it like that. I didn't want to meet him. He didn't want to meet me. We met. I didn't like him. He love at first sight for him. I promise you, I'm not gaslighting myself. He does say that. So 8 days later, though, I was head over heels in love with this man. And 4 months after that, we were engaged. A week after our engagement, my estranged ex-boyfriend burst into my house, made his way into the house, assaulted me, and Lovey protected me, being my knight in shining armor and the man of my dreams. He intervened, and he was he was stabbed in his heart, and so he had to have 2 open heart surgeries. And it was crazy. And this happened all before we even got married. So once we got married, at the wedding, it's crazy. His whole family was like down with her, and didn't want to really have anything else to do with me. I was the bad person, basically. So Lovey, being Lovey, he's the only child on his mom's side, and instead of him, I won't say instead of him, but he was trying to please everyone. And with him trying to please everyone, he put me in a position to where I was like, you know what? This is not working for me. So 4 years later, I asked for a divorce, and I told him I didn't want to be with him anymore. And that happened to happen on our 4-year anniversary. We were out to dinner. I didn't mean for it to come out like that, but it just did. So long story short, we obviously did not break up. We did counseling, we did coaching, we were looking for, trying to be around positive people. We were able to learn how to communicate, and how Married into Crazy, I want to say that it was developed from that incident, because we became the couple that we were looking for at the time of what we needed. So anyway, long story short, we're still here. Thankfully, we are, like I said, going on 30 years, and So, Queen's Corner, I want to talk about compassion. Like the last episode was, compassion is an invitation. So, I want to talk about what is compassion. Compassion for me, when I think about compassion is more than just feeling sorry for my person, for the other person, for your spouse. It's trying to understand what your spouse is going through, being supportive when things aren't going the right way, or when they are not going the way that they think that it should be, when there's tough situations, having some empathy when you don't agree with whatever is happening between the two of you. Compassion really is like love in action. Action steps. I'm going to operate and do things for you because I want to. I see you being seen. I'm trying to understand what you're going through. So I recognize for myself, I recognize when Lovey has something going on. My action steps are I have to adjust my expectations. I don't expect him to do the things that he normally would do when everything is going all great and he's all happy or whatever. Adjusting my expectations of him. Not assuming that when things are tough or when he says something, don't automatically think that he's being hurtful, that he's doing something on purpose. I don't lead with negativity. Sometimes we do that. Our first thing, because he always, and that's why, and blah, blah, blah. We get upset about that. But having compassion is about, for me, I believe having compassion is not thinking that he's doing something hurtful on purpose. He's not being mean. So compassion is often overlooked. I think compassion, some people think to be compassionate means that you're being soft, or you're just letting somebody walk all over you, and that's not the case. So when I think about compassion, compassion for me is often the foundation that makes the other pillars possible. So Married into Crazy is an acronym, and it stands for compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding. The first letter is compassion. And in order to do all the others, like I said, having that foundation of compassion makes the other pillars, our 5 pillars that we teach on, it makes it more possible, it makes it easier. So being real is easier when I know that my spouse is going to operate in compassion. I don't have to be worried that it's going to be a big thing. They're going to do some other stuff. They're going to be on some other, how we be like, I can't tell you nothing. That's why I can't talk to you, because you always this or you always that. So if my person, my spouse knows, or your spouse, whoever knows that I'm going to be listening, I'm going to hear what they have to say, I'm going to see them, then them being real is going to be a lot easier. Same thing with accountability. It's more effective when they know that you're not going to be criticizing them, and that you're coming from a place of caring about them, caring about their feelings and everything. So and that's a hard thing too, because sometimes people kind of confuse criticism with, I won't say they confuse criticism with caring, but in your mind, if you're thinking, oh, all you're gonna do is criticize me or put me down or whatever, then okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna have accountability. Having compassion also makes being zealous more about the relationship and not just about me and my wants and what I want to do and how I want to feel or whatever. I'm thinking holistically about our relationship. And yielding becomes less about losing, because we always think, that other person goes first. They always get to go first, and it's this, is that, or whatever. Get out. I'm sorry, y'all. That's so rude. I'm so sorry. Yielding becomes less about losing and more about the relationship. So I feel like in order to have those pillars, you have to have that foundation of compassion. So when you have compassion, it helps your spouse, it helps your spouse see you. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry, y'all. When you have compassion, it helps me see my spouse. I see their heart, okay? And then it also helps me hear them with my heart. So with compassion, I'm able to see their heart. And also with compassion, I'm able to hear them with my heart, not my ears or my mind, because my mind is always going to tell me something else. So that's kind of where we are with compassion. That's my take on what compassion is. So Queen's Corner, next one is going to be Lovey. I'm thinking he's going to do real, but for right now, that's it. And I know I'm all over the place. Y'all know how my fingers and everything. Anyway, so I'm being real because this is really me. So Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And until the next time, be blessed. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.